anywhere in between that scope of services that we can provide. So, again, I'm pleased to be here, pleased to support the Human Development Centers. No one will ever get me off center of that. I know too many people that live here. I think it's extraordinarily unfair to have conversations sometimes about, I think someone used the word earlier, forcing people to leave their home. It is extraordinarily unfair to have conversations that force people to leave their home. I don't think any of us would allow that for any member of their family, themselves, or any of their loved ones. So we're mindful of that at DEPA. We're certainly mindful of that at our organization at Fort City.
Thank you for coming in, for your time and your comments, sir. Representative Hammer.
I was trusting your judgment until you said what you said about Randy, and then I was suspicious.
I laughed.
Yes.
I did. I've done all too well out there. Randy truly is the pinnacle of health.
I appreciate your testimony, and I cannot remember the other provider that came in a while ago because it's a teamwork effort. It's not just about the Human Development Center, it's about the community as a whole.
Yes, sir.
And perhaps we need to look at the branding of what we're trying to do, because nowhere in the brand of the Human Development Center does that imply community. It implies institutionalization. And maybe a rebranding of the name would be something to put on the list. To that point, do you have an opinion about the assessment tool? Because if you have an individual that needs services, there has to be a gatekeeper to decide, do they go to the Human Development Center? Do they go to a community provider, a smaller home? And as you brought out your testimony, that's a pretty fluid movement depending on the patient and the needs at the time that you reevaluate that individual's achievements in life. What is your opinion about the assessment tool, and what would you like us to hear about the assessment process, to where, because if you get the person in the right place, that helps the person primarily, but it also helps maybe control the cost or adjust the cost. What's your opinion?
Well, keep in mind, my mindset is, frankly, I would be in support of a consistent tool that evaluated people. An assessment tool, I think it's necessary, and I think it needs to be consistent. I do not, though, believe, Representative Hammer, that the tool should dictate or drive where that person lives. I think families and individuals should have that choice. And that tool will serve as a guide to, if you choose this setting, how we're going to be funded.
Should that tool, while not directing where the person goes, maybe identifies the services that are needed and let that be a contributing factor in the decision-making process, which would include the appropriate individuals, primarily the guardian for that person, and that person themselves, if they're able to make competent decisions or input for themselves to the testimony that was previously given. But is, an assessment tool is a hot button right now in this discussion in all the agencies. So and maybe, Mr. Chairman, future time, we might get some of these individuals back at another meeting, because I think, we could maybe learn a little bit more from them. But do you have any opinion about that?
Well, sure, and I think that tool is really good, but we all utilize maybe varying tools now that develop that plan of care. We do assessments, I'm sure they do at the HDC annually on the assessments when you develop that plan of care. I think what we do is a bit different in that respect, what they do in an HDC and how we develop the plan of care out on the waiver. So we've got a tool, but it's not necessarily consistent, and I think that's probably important when you're looking at services and cost of services, that you have a single point of entry. And I think maybe that's what we're talking about, a single point of entry for services, and then lay it out for families and individuals and have it a longer list of choices as well.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Anything else, Mr. Ashton?
No, sir, I appreciate it. I know it's been a long day for you guys. I'm looking forward to the tour. I could give it if they want to.
On that note, we are nearly at 4:30, and we appreciate everybody for staying here, laboring through so that everybody is heard. Very, very important. Any other discussion by the committee before we adjourn from this particular place? And then those of you that can, and I would ask Sarah, probably when I get done talking, I was just going to say, Sarah, I'd just say probably with the hour, I would say probably focus on the most critical thing that you would like for some of these folks to see if they can even stay. But we appreciate you being here and everyone for contributing to these proceedings here today. With nothing further, the committee actually will go into adjournment with a tour to follow for those as it can. We do appreciate it. Randy, thank you also for being here. It's good to see you. Thanks to Stephen Group and all concerned. Meeting's adjourned.